I've looked at a lot of evidence today, and I firmly believe there is a second person, maybe a third person involved in this that we haven't heard a word from except for day one when they don't have everything tightly controlled. But first, I want to go to Lieutenant J. Paul Vance, who put out a press release today saying they will prosecute anyone spreading info not giving out by the Connecticut police. And let's go to that video.
One thing that's becoming somewhat of a concern, and that is misinformation that's being posted on social media sites. These issues are crimes. They will be investigated statewide and federally, and prosecution will take place when people perpetrating this information are identified.
Yeah, so you ask questions on the internet, you analyze the video that the mainstream media has put out, you look at witness testimony, and then you put that on your social media network site. Well, now we're going to prosecute you. And it's basically already started. Facebook suspends account for questioning official narrative of shooting. And this is from Paul Joseph Watson. This came out today. Facebook is suspending user accounts that question the official narrative behind the Sandy Hook school massacre following a warning by Connecticut State Police spokesman J. Paul Vance that misinformation posted on social media sites would result in prosecution. And what did they suspend this user's account for? And this is from Secrets of the Fed. This is their account. There it is. This just in. Adam Lanza, a clumsy 20-year-old autistic kid dressed in camo and full body armor who never shot a gun before, well, we're not sure about that, drives to another state, gets into a locked school looking like Rambo, kills 26 people with dead-on accuracy at a school. His mother, a retired teacher who no one ever heard of before, used to work years before, and allegedly killing her with a gun that belonged to her in the first place, then takes his own life. That's the news, and people will blindly see it or believe it. Yeah, I mean, that looks a little weird. There's some stuff in there that's not quite accurate. He did live with his mother. He was actually probably posting stuff that said Ryan Lanza, who lived in Hoboken, New Jersey, drove to the other state. And then that all got cleared up because there was a lot of stuff coming out in the beginning that his mom worked at the school, that it was Ryan Lanza because he had his ID in his pocket. Well, let's look at what Fox News posted on that day. And it says, second Connecticut school shooter suspect in custody. CBS News reports that a potential second shooter is in custody and that SWAT is now investigating the home of the suspect. Miller reports the authorities have gone to a home connected with an individual in custody after seeing what appeared to be a body inside. Witnesses tell WSFB that a second man was taken out of the woods in handcuffs wearing a black jacket and camouflage pants, telling parents at the scene, "I did not do it." And now I want to take you to a video that I put together today after I've been searching the internet all day, mainly looking for explanations of who this guy was that the police handcuffed and brought out of the woods. That there seems to be no mention of him anymore. It's just like, hey, you know, whatever, we got one guy, that's all we need. So this video starts off with some overhead helicopter footage with a correspondent talking about how they've confirmed reports that from the state police that they have a second guy in custody. Then it goes to a little boy who was in the school when it happened, and as they were leading him to the firehouse, he saw a man on the ground with his hands cuffed behind his back. Then it cuts to an older gentleman who was there. He watched him bring the guy in out of his handcuffs. He even points to him. He says he's right over there in the police car, and he says he was wearing a black jacket and camo pants. Then it's going to cut to some overhead helicopter footage that didn't have any sound to it. So the sound I put was some sound from a police scanner going on that day, recorded, of cops basically getting reports of two shadows that were seen running along the gym wall. And then you can hear the cops chasing two suspects. And then later on, which I didn't capture that and put that in there, you could actually hear him say, "We have a man down prone." But the video it continues on, and there'll be no audio, and I'll talk over that. And you can actually see the cops up in the woods surrounding a guy who's on the ground. Okay? We haven't heard word of this person. So Lieutenant John Paul Vance, or JP Vance, whatever your name is, we have questions. We want to know who this guy is, and how come you haven't said a word about him since this incident? How come since day one there's reports of him, and now it's like he never existed? Was this a government agent? Who was this guy? Who has such magical powers that they could be arrested by police on the scene of one of the worst mass shootings in history, and we never hear a peep of him? How is that possible? I want to know. Let's go to the video.
It's believed at this hour, and it's been confirmed to ABC News by state police there in Connecticut, that 2 shooters were initially believed involved in the mass shooting. One of those shooters now dead. What's not been confirmed is whether or not that gunman took his own life or whether or not there was something that ensued after authorities began arriving at the scene.
So we ran out. There's police about at every door. They're leading us down this way, quick, come on. And we ran down to the firehouse. There's a man pinned down to the ground with handcuffs on, and we thought that was the victim. We really didn't get a good glance at him because he was, like, there's a car blocking it.
They did walk a guy out of the woods. I saw him walk a guy out earlier with handcuffs. He walked by us and said he didn't do it.
It was a grown man.
A grown man, yeah. He's sitting in the front of the police car over there now. So, I mean...
He didn't have a gun?
No, I didn't see any gun. Just had him handcuffed. And he walked by us and looked into parents' eyes and said, I didn't do it.
How was he dressed?
Camo pants with a dark jacket.
Press road. Other unit. Take up station point in that driveway. Roger.
U.S. responding to State School at this time. The shooting appears to have stopped. It is silent at this time. The school is in lockdown.
679 road. Under that, we'll stage up here in the front.
679 Crestwood. Roger. Reports that the teacher saw 2 shadows running past the building, past the gym, which would be rear base. Near shooting.
Yeah, we got them. They're coming at me down Crestwood. Come up the driveway left side. 6, this is it. Where you coming from?
Center, you're requested to stage Methodist Church, St. Oak Center. I will need 2 ambulances at this time.
Sorry, ambulance, having stage.
Acknowledge. We don't have any additional crew on station.
So there, and you can see there right under the word shooting, as it's going to pan up, and you're going to see the cops standing around a man who's laying on the ground. There it is right there. You can actually see the man next to the tree. You can see the cops all around him. But what are we supposed to believe? We're supposed to believe that man doesn't exist. We're supposed to believe that 2 witnesses who saw this man, and notice how the older gentleman, he said the guy is sitting in the front of the police car. Why would they put a suspect in front of the police car? Did this guy have some major credentials that he gets to sit in the front of the police car after he's caught after a mass shooting, and they lead him down in handcuffs? Who is this guy? Who is this amazing person who has these magical powers that he could be at the scene of a crime, be handcuffed, and we never hear another word about him through the mainstream media? And they probed every other detail of this case over and over again. And, you know, they acknowledged they made the mistake calling him Ryan Lanza when it was Adam Lanza. They've acknowledged the fact that his dad wasn't dead when they said he was dead. But nothing about this guy, nothing like, oh, we made a mistake, there was no second person, because there was a second person. And if they don't want to talk about it now, we should be asking those questions, and we should be forcing the issue. In fact, we should make a White House petition. If the president's going to use this as political collateral, we should know who this second guy is. We should see his picture. We should see his name. We should know who he is. He was arrested at the scene of this crime. Why can't we know that?